Hey Star Wars fans, today we're talking about Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. Book review for you. That's weird. Anyway, book review for you let's try this again. Hey guys, Derek here from ProjectPadawan.com, and today I've got another book review for you. This book is Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. Now, I have heard lots of reviews about this, and it's actually a young adult book, whatever that means. Obviously, it means for young adults, but the point is, it's a really good book. I mean, it was such a good book. It was actually the second one I read, and I couldn't put it down. It was such a good book. It's actually an interesting way she tells the story. I like her writing, which I'm actually reading Bloodline right now, and I believe she wrote that as well, but it's a really interesting way they tell the story. It's basically the original trilogy timeline, pretty much, except for some beginning because they have to set up the characters. A lot of original trilogy timeline with outside characters just sort of wrapped around the original characters. So you see kind of Darth Vader and Princess Leia, different things, and you see that, but it's from the perspective of these two other characters, Thane Kyrell and Sienna Ree, or Sienna Ree, Sienna? I'm probably pronouncing those wrong. But anyway, it's Thane and Sienna, and those two are the main characters of the story. Spoilers ahead, just be ready. Here we go. So their love interest throughout this whole book, they grow up on this little, side planet called Jellucan, or Jellucan. Again, mispronunciations everywhere. They grow up on this planet Jellucan, and they are totally different in classes. So Thane is very highbrow, whereas Sienna is not at all. But they end up flying together. They go to the Imperial Academy together. They go to the one on Coruscant, where they're very big, high, important ranking officials. And she becomes part of like a Star Destroyer team, and he's an X-Wing, or excuse me, not an X-Wing. He's a, what is he? And he becomes a TIE fighter pilot, and just the story goes from there. So they are both part of each one of the major events. She ends up being on a Star Destroyer that's connected to the Death Star, and she's on the Death Star at one point, but then she's off, and then he's off, and then it gets destroyed. However, one of their classmates was on the Death Star, and so they're like, oh, sad, and because some real person died instead of just a bunch of faceless stormtroopers. And actually what happens before that too is one of their classmates that's with Sienna on the Star Destroyer with her, he is from Alderaan, and Alderaan gets destroyed, so it's that real sort of connection, as opposed to just Princess Leia is the only one. He's from there. And then what happens is they go through this whole course of events. Thane becomes a little bit disillusioned. He's like, this is horrible. The Empire's horrible people. And he doesn't really necessarily like the rebellion per se, but he's like, the Empire's terrible. And so he ends up leaving the Empire, and he goes and sort of juts out on his own. And finally, one day, he sees the Empire being terrible to people, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to join the rebellion because this is what I have to do. Well, Sienna, she's ends up being like a lieutenant or some high-ranking thing in the Empire, and they end up meeting, and it's like, oh my gosh, they find out that, through a miscommunication, he thinks she's going to join him, she thinks he's coming back, and it's a whole mess. And the point of the story was Thane and Sienna, through their lens of those two characters, we see the original trilogy. And it's actually like a really cool perspective to see what all happens on sort of the other side of things. Like if you peeked around the corner, you'd see these characters. And my hope, I would hope above hope to see these characters in not only other books, but in comics or even a movie. I think that would be so cool, because I loved Thane and Sienna, especially the way she wrote them and just some of the other characters. It's such a good book. So if you haven't gotten a chance to read it, go read Lost Stars. Read it. It is so worth it. Like, it's such a good book. Even though it has that YA, that young adult sort of thing on it, it's such a good book. Read it. Lost Stars, Claudia Gray. Such a good book. So there you go, guys. A book review for you. Lost Stars. Go check it out. And all the links you need to know in the description below. ProjectPadawan.com, social media, subscribe to the podcast, all that good stuff. Go check it out. I really hope you will, because I know that you'll enjoy it. And if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and make sure to smash that subscribe button so you don't miss another video. Thanks for watching, guys, and until next time, may the Force be with you.